Hello, and welcome today to something a little bit more unconventional, I guess. I mean, right now you're probably just looking at what seems to be an altered image of some famous writer's desk, but with my face on top of the other guy's face. I don't know, I just wanted to try something a little bit new. I don't know what to call this. I guess I'm gonna call it Jack's Notes, just because, just out of convenience, because, this isn't really. Well, let's just say, as you guys know, I think I only did like one video last year, and the algorithm doesn't like it when you don't produce enough. So I figured, you know what, screw it. I want to try to at least add a little bit more to the video. I mean, add a little bit more to this platform, and if not, then at the very least, at least I'll get some of my thoughts and opinions out there, because that's kind of the whole point of this channel. This is sort of more of an unscripted idea here. More like sort of a peek behind the curtain, so to speak. Where, I'm just going to talk here without really much of a... How do you say... like it's gonna be unscripted. Like, there is an outline, but there's not much of a script. Like, this is just me rambling off into the wind, and you guys just happen to catch it. So yeah. First off, the reason why I haven't been uploading a lot more recently, I think most of you guys can probably figure out what, and that's just because the how do you say it? The corona flu has basically caused a huge impact, and like basically I've had to reorganize how my life is going at the moment, and that's primarily because, during the first couple of months within the year of 2021, I was basically just I'll just say this: I no longer work for the pizza restaurant. I think you guys know which one I'm talking about. And the reason was just because, I was being overloaded, like, in the sense that I was pretty much working nights. Like, 5 in the afternoon till who knows when. Because long story short, I had closing duties, and sometimes, if we were lucky, we got out at like 1:30 at night, but most other times it would be like 3 at night on average, and there were moments when I just got out at like 3 in the morning. So yeah, by the next day I'd be knocked out until 11 if I was if I was lucky, or 10 o'clock if I managed to get a good night's sleep. But most oftentimes I'd be knocked out until 3 o'clock, and by that point it's back to the grind. Like, it was affecting my health. I was basically running on caffeine. My car was breaking down a lot more, so sometimes I would just be inside working. But yeah, like, I was still able to get some hours in. I was still able to make money, but when you start spending money more on maintenance of your own vehicle, maintenance on yourself, because you can barely function. Yeah, it's not exactly healthy, and I knew that. And my family was starting to worry. Like, my dad was saying, "Hey, maybe you should probably look for another job." The same thing happened with my mom, because she couldn't find a time to talk with me and stuff. Like, when your parents start thinking, "Hey, you should probably cut back on work," and this is coming from an infamous workaholic, it's like, yeah, that's when you realize, yeah, you should probably switch careers. I was able to do that, and let's just say I now wear a green uniform and work in an automotive retail store, one that has an Irish theme, so to speak. You can probably tell which one. That should give you everything you need to know. But yeah, it's sort of the reason I chose that job instead is because, well, the hours are a lot easier. They have their own vehicles that they maintain, they operate, and to top it all off, freaking healthcare. They have healthcare options, and yeah, in a couple of weeks, I'll be able to finally have my first physical since I was in California. Yeah, I'll actually be able to, get my blood checked and everything, which is probably a good thing, you know. So yeah, I was just this whole time I was just reorganizing myself, getting back into the groove of things, so to speak. It's like that's kind of the thing about this entire COVID experience. I know it's probably not the best way to say experience because, you know, 900,000 people and counting did not make it out of this. At least, in the United States. But yeah, I think this has sort of pushed us and made us realize, that there's a couple of things that maybe we took for granted that maybe made us realize we should probably reorganize our lives a little. Like I think in a sense we are starting to get back to normal. Like, I noticed at the store they had these turnstile, those little turnstile candy dispensers. Where you just throw in a quarter, turn the little key, and out pops out a little bunch of candy. They had those stored in the back of the store, sort of for sanitary reasons. But but now they're in the front, and according to the manager, it's because corporate said we can do it now, and that kind of stuff. Like I think we'll be able to get that kind of normal, but I don't think we'll be able to shake ourselves from this experience. Like, even if you're like in my situation where I was lucky, thank God, where I didn't really have that many family members that were affected by it. Like one or two were caught positive, but there isn't anyone within my neither my immediate or my extended family that really died because of this. Thank goodness. I think it's just because, we all had that collective knowledge that the vaccines would help, or that, wearing a mask helps. Like, by the way, if you're not vaccinated, at least mask up, buddy. Or if, just take the vaccine now, because I think we're just a few more away from reaching full herd immunity. It's like, okay, here's something I have to say to people who haven't vaccinated yet, and tell this to anyone else. Just call them a pussy and just say that they're afraid of needles and such. Because let's face it, I don't think there's anything that if there's a microchip in there that tech stuff that takes track of your information, dude, you have a cell phone. And looking at the guys from the January 6th, right? Like, that thing was entirely self-documented. Like, the FBI is just looking through pictures now and saying that guy's guilty, that guy's guilty, that guy's guilty. It's like, you guys do that to yourselves. It's like, I don't know. At this point, I don't think there's a proper excuse other than just say they're afraid of needles. Like, if you do have a if you do have a genuine compromised immune system, that's one thing. And also maybe religion, but I think even religion is sort of a stretch because, the Quran, which is basically the Muslim Bible, where you say you're not allowed to eat pork because pigs are filthy. Apparently there's a general exception where if you have no other choice, like if you're crossing the desert and the only thing that is available to eat is a pig, well, yeah, slice that sucker up and start learning how to cook proper bacon. But I don't know. That might be a little too crude. But if even if even Muslims have exceptions to the pork rule, then I think the same thing can be said about most other religions regarding vaccines. I think genuinely, if I honestly think that I made my position known in the sense that if you don't take the vaccine, like if you can take the vaccine now, please take it, or else you're just being a complete. You're not just being an asshole. You're being a pussy. That's all I can say. I know it's probably not the best way to put it, but that's how I choose to put it. But yeah, I think in general, just the whole pandemic is sort of. I don't know. Maybe I'm just assigning meaning to something that's really stupid. But I think it just means that we've kind of need to reprioritize our goals right now. And that's sort of where I'm going with this. I really want to at least talk about anime, at the very least, not necessarily review it, but I think there are some things that I think are interesting. I don't know. I just feel like if it's not in a high quality, it might not be taken well. So this is sort of my experiment, to see how well this thing does. So, anyways, I think if you guys remember, there were a couple of about I don't know if it's like a year ago or whatever, but I remember. Hang on. Okay, so if you remember at about when was this? It was a long time ago, but I forget when. 3 years ago, I did a first impression video on the trailer for High Guardian Spice, and holy Jesus, it is out now for 2 months, and I gotta be 100% honest, I don't even think I really need to review it. I gotta be honest, I think I'd rather do reviews on other anime rather than touch this one, and there's a reason why. I think I have a couple of anime on the queue that I'd rather talk about. First one that comes to mind right now is A Sentence of a Bookworm. I don't know, and I think it's just because regarding the topics of books right now, and what's going on in Texas and Tennessee and other more conservative-leaning areas of the United States. Yeah, I think it's a discussion. I think there's a discussion that could be had right about now about it. Someone's at the front door. Alright. I think we could have a discussion about it, and I think regarding I'm pro literature, I'll be honest, I think some of the greatest stories I've ever heard came from books, obviously. But yeah, I remembered, I don't want to sound like a hipster, but I remember reading Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Ferdinand before they became movies. I was like, wait, seriously? Are they really making these movies? Because if we now I'm thinking to myself, all that's left now is a story about a whole lot of ducklings, and I can go ahead and call children's literature bingo, because I used to have this anthology book full of children's books that I read when I was little, and I'm like, there's no way they're getting their ideas from the same book I used to read. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. Who cares? But anyways, yeah. I think and I'll get more into that. Why I want to go into that discussion. If I ever get to that review, which I'm hoping I get to do. I'd rather do that instead of High Guardian Spice. There's also other shows Komi-san Can't Communicate. There's also Attack on Titan. I need to watch that one because I was off that wagon. I gotta be honest. I thought that if I ever did review Attack on Titan, that I'd record the video right at the border, just at a joke, because I think at the time we were all making wall jokes, and it was just a perfect meme when Trump was running for president. Holy crap, it's been more than 4 years. But yeah, I think just as, a continuation of that joke, I just do the review while I'm leaning my back against the freaking border wall. Which it isn't even a wall, it's just a glorified fence. It's a glorified fence that they haven't whitewashed yet. But, yeah, that's sort of where my thoughts are leaning right now. Like, I'm actually watching, My Dress Up Darling 2 right now. And I gotta be honest, I think, like I said, I think I could come up with more to talk about that show rather than say High Guardian Spice. Because I'll be honest, when it comes to High Guardian Spice, I think everything that can be said about that show has been said. Or I can probably say a couple of things that are a little bit more interesting to say about the show, but honestly, I don't know. Maybe someone else has already said it and I haven't thought of it. Like, I can probably talk about it, but, like, at this point, it's a dead horse, Like, it kind of feels like at this point, it's like, if I'm gonna take shots at High Guardian Spice, it better be the one that finally kills it for good, so to speak. Like, everyone's taking easy pot shots that I honestly don't think are warranted. Like, for example, the fact that like, despite the name High Guardian Spice, all the main characters are named after herbs and, like, spices and herbs. I don't think there's really that much of a distinction to make that kind of complaint warranted. I mean, think about it. When you talk about Colonel Sanders' secret herbs and spices, you kind of just talk about them collectively. You don't just say how many herbs and how many spices. You kind of just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's much of a distinction, and even if there is, who cares? I don't think that's something that's even worth going into. Like, what was it? Who was it that said rosemary was spice? Ratatouille? Yeah, Ratatouille says it too, so who gives a shit? No one really gives a shit, Also, another thing, like, I noticed a lot of people complain that the ending sequence, like the credit sequence, has they basically quote unquote copied the animation of Azumanga Dao, and I'm like, really? You're gonna complain about that? It's like, dude, do you know how many people copied the motorcycle slide from Akira? And yet, it's like no one's complaining like, they're copying the animation from Akira. That's lame. No, fuck these guys. No, it's like, no. It's like, oh, fuck yeah, they're doing the thing from Akira. That's awesome. And it's like, it's like, it's screw you, dude. It's like, why are you celebrating that, but complaining about, copying Azumanga Dao? It's like, if anything, I think I'm actually more grateful that they are doing that. Like, okay, so far I've only gotten to, like, the second episode, and I'm like, no, I can't do it. But I kind of have to. Like, I don't know. I'll be honest. Like, I know the production was a little troubled, but I did, learn a few more things about the show that kind of made me think. I kind of feel bad for Ray Rodriguez, the creator of High Guardian Spice, because according to him, he's kind of had this idea for a show for like a long time. And, it's like, this is sort of the weeb nightmare for the guy. Like, okay, like, I know he's like a transgendered male, and I'm just thinking to myself, holy crap, this guy's had this dream since he had a vagina. It's like, holy crap. Poor dude. Also, now that I think about it, considering that the fact that he's like the one that created the webcomic, wasn't that kind of... Also, like, considering the fact that he's the one that wrote the original webcomic, and they said they had like a 100% female writing staff. Well, isn't he kind of excluding himself? Like, if you think about it, I mean, like, yeah, he was born female, but I think he transitioned into male. You know, and like if I'm not getting my wires crossed, I don't know. I'm not gonna Google it right now, but holy crap! Like either they're not acknowledging the fact that he's transgendered, or the fact that he's transitioned into male, or something else is going on. Like, I don't know. It's a little sus, is what I'm saying. And I cannot believe I said the word sus. That is, oh boy. But yeah, I don't know. Like I kind of, I don't know. I kind of do sympathize, but at the same time, it's like, Napo, you okay? Napo's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Napo coughing up something, or I don't know what he was doing there. Sometimes he coughs. But yeah, like I was just as I was saying, like, I don't know. Like, in some ways, I can kind of empathize with the guy, but at the same time, there's like a couple of things where it's like, well, dude, you had this idea since middle school. Like, I can go ahead and tell you right now, I've had some similar ideas for shows that as a little kid, or movies, because sometimes I think about movies more than shows. But you're telling me you had this idea since you were in middle school, and you never thought, oh my goodness, this is terrible. Because I'll go ahead and say there are boxes in this house that I'm in right now that have my old story ideas, where if Michael Bay looked at them, he would say, oh my goodness, this kid is so immature. Like I have those kinds of stories hidden around this house, and I don't want to look. I don't want to run the risk of finding them, because I know they're bad. Like, I think recently it's like, I think that's in some ways a good thing. Like, I'm pretty sure some of you guys know who the Odd Ones Out is, and he says that oftentimes he looks at his, like, he can't stand at looking at his old work, like the very first video he ever made, but he acknowledges that the reason he keeps it up is because, that's like his very first video, and it shows how much the guy has improved. And yeah, you can see a progression within, the Marshmallow Man's art style. And, I think the same thing can be said here. Like, if you, like, I look at, like, I acknowledge the stories that I made a long time ago, and I compare it to, say, some of the stuff I've written nowadays. I'm like, yeah, I think I've improved in general as a writer. Like, I have a Ready Player One fanfiction written online, and I've gotten some compliments. Like, some people say they like my style, some people are more focused on the events occurring, which I guess is sort of, a good thing, because, although I did read some people were a little disappointed that I said I'd stick to the canon, but, Anyways, this kind of leads us into, I know, the reason why I wanted to make this video. I thought maybe I should be a little bit more, I don't know, maybe a little bit more formal, or maybe a little bit more informal. I'm not sure. Basically, so I've decided that this is the year that I'm gonna try to get a book published. Nothing too fancy, I suppose. But yeah, this is kind of why, in a way, I kind of feel like I want it, I'll be honest, I really, I've been thinking of this project for a while, for a good long while, and I thought, screw it, let's try to make a book. And I thought, what should I make it about? Well, if I can put it in short, it's going to be, basically about drift drivers in West Virginia. But, go ahead and sing a song. You know the one. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country roads. I just, because I knew a lot of people, like, I've been sort of talking a little bit about it. And, yeah, it's like, I think I can probably make this work. Anyways, long story short, it's a story about, you know, a teenage delivery boy in West Virginia who has, over the years, like, this takes place in a post-COVID America, so to speak. Post-COVID West Virginia. So during the pandemic, basically, he was supposed to start high school during the pandemic, but instead, he kind of just, yeah, like the pandemic kind of just forced everyone to stay at home. However, his uncle decided to take advantage of the situation because he was also supposed to be suspended for the year, for a couple of weeks, and he's kind of used that to say, hey, you want to go like a bum? Okay, you're going to have to learn how to drive, which is something he didn't really want to do. And I'll get into the reasons why later, but long story short, during the pandemic, the kid's been learning how to drive up and down the mountain and doing deliveries all around his town, while wearing a mask and everything, so people didn't even think he was, like, he wasn't stopped at all until lately, and it's because, you know, no one really recognized him under the mask, so everyone just thought that he was just not, like, they thought that his uncle had hired someone, but turns out, no, it was his nephew the whole time. It was his adopted nephew. And, yeah, that's, if this is starting to sound like an anime that I talked about on September 5th, 2018, then, yeah, there's some parallels to that, and some that are a little bit more egregious, but I started out with it being a little bit of an exercise, but then it just kind of started making the story all of its own. Like, it started being its own thing. So, what are the differences? Well, I think the timeline and setting already makes a pretty interesting difference. Like, instead of it taking place in 1990s Japan, it's taking place in current 2020s America, specifically in West Virginia. Specifically a fictionalized town that is sort of witnessing a gentrification, so to speak, because coal mining is pretty much no longer a thing, especially in, you know, with climate change altering it. However, there has been an influx of new residents, some of them being pretty much Hispanic. So yeah, basically it's a bunch of Mexicans moving in, and you know, it's like, well, that's sort of, so yeah, there's that. Like, you'll notice there's going to be a couple of changes here and there. Like, I don't want to get too much into it, because I think it would be better if I did this on a video on its own. But, yeah, long story short, I think I could probably make it work. I'd probably make it work. I feel confident in the story a little bit. Like, right now, as it stands, it is, like, the whole thing has, like, the whole manuscript has been written out. All that's left is sort of getting it edited, getting it peer-reviewed, so to speak, getting some sensitivity readers to tell me, hey, you're being racist, and me to say, yeah, that's kind of the point. But trust me, it gets less racist as you go along, or you start to see perspectives. Like, I'll be honest, like, it probably will be one of those, like, I'll be lucky if this isn't a banned book, but if it does become a banned book, well, then there's my, I think that's going to be the publicity right there. Like, hey, buy this book because your parents don't want you to buy it. And speaking of, you know, selling the book, I don't know if I want to do it as an ebook version or just exclusively in print. I think I might be I might be willing to do it as an ebook, but I don't know. I think there's something about, buying it in physical form that would be, that, kind of makes it a little bit special. Plus, I figured, there's probably some stuff I can do with it. And, I don't know, like, I know for a fact that, like, I can probably get the, like, I can get the book printed out, but I don't know if I'll be able to market it properly. Like, I know I can, I don't know, I've been questioning a couple of things, like, maybe I should open up a TikTok and talk about, promote the book there, or maybe I should, promote the book that way, or, like, I don't know, like, I do know that, just getting the book printed is one thing, but it's another animal entirely to get it on billboards, to get it, so I don't know, I've been thinking maybe I should do a Kickstarter campaign or something. Like, I wouldn't even know how I would offer a tier or reward, but I do know that if I do want to get it, like definitely I would want to, you know, get it. Like, I do know I want to get it out, and I can, but sort of minimize the risk of, say, the whole thing backfiring on me. Like I, sort of take the edge off it. I don't know. This is definitely something that I need to talk to an expert with, but I don't know that many experts, and I don't know. Like, I've grown up with, just trusting people, so to speak. Like, I can't trust my dad with this because I know he's not going to invest in it, so I don't bother. And I know I can't just go out there and say, hey, I have a book, help me publish it, because I know there's probably some people who want to take advantage of it, of that situation, I don't know. Like, my mom said that she knew a guy back in, like, California that, that published books and that maybe he could help me, but, that's, like, back in California. I don't know. Like, I'm in Texas now. I gotta say that despite, living in Texas and liking living here, there are a couple of things that I do miss. Like, there's this one restaurant back in Anaheim. It's just across from the high school. It's called Mosdos. It's on Lincoln Avenue. Look it up. Long story short, it's a teriyaki restaurant that's operated by Mexicans. So it's good food. Like, basically you get like a salad, a gyoza, a spring roll, and just a bed of rice topped with teriyaki chicken or teriyaki beef or whatever, or shrimp or whatever you want to put on top of it. I just remember that thing, and it is freaking delicious. But, yeah, I'm not but yeah, long story short, I really don't want to get this book published. And, yeah, what else is left to talk about? Oh, yeah, I also want to get, more connections with people, again, to help with the book, but also just because, like, I don't know, I've noticed something weird on, when it comes to my interactions online. Like, I've noticed that I've only have 12 subscribers in total on this channel. I know, which means you're probably not even watching this video, or if you are, it's going to be way in the future. But also, just when I look online, I have 81 followers. So, it's like, what the heck is going on there? I don't know. Like, I'm definitely gonna put this on Twitter so to get as many people watching this video as much as possible. But yeah, I don't know. Like, there's definitely some weird things going on. Like, I noticed there's more people following me on Twitter than there are people subscribed to me on YouTube. And again, I think it has more to do with the fact that I dick around more on Twitter than I do on YouTube. So yeah, no, I hope this change. I hope that's what changes. But, yeah, this is sort of, I also do want, like I said, I want to get this book published, and I do need some. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a Kickstarter, maybe by the end of this month. But yeah, like I said, this is sort of one of those big projects where I'm just diving headfirst into it. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I should probably share at least some concept pictures real quick. But yeah, that's really all I got to talk about. For now. Hopefully, like, I don't know, do leave a message if you guys, do leave a comment if you guys want me to talk about High Guardian Spice. I mean, if you guys really want me to talk about it, I think right now it's just a dead horse, and I'd rather, watch other anime. But hey, I don't know, it's like, this is the capitalist society, you tell me what you guys want, I'll try and deliver. But, yeah, that's really all I got. Anyways, leave a like, subscribe, do the things that the algorithm wants me to tell you guys to do. And yeah, until then, this is me saying, thank you for being smart. Sayonara.